Now back to the show. The Heartland at Noon on 800 CHAB.
He's playing 2 sold-out shows in Moose Jaw next week, Wednesday and Friday. It's his Up Close and Alone tour, Burton Cummings, at the Moose Jaw Cultural Center. Burton's on the Heartland at Noon right now on 800 CHAB. Just a thrill to have you here, Burton. Sold-out shows in Moose Jaw next week. I mean, that's still good for your ego.
The tickets sold out so fast. I was so proud of that. Here's the thing. I like the May Wilson very much. I wouldn't take my band in there because it's too loud, and I wouldn't want to blow people's ears away. But I'm just going to be sitting alone at the piano with the just piano and voice alone. A few months ago, I went to the May Wilson and I saw the Sons of the Pioneers. And after that night, I realized I should do a one-man show here. The sound is beautiful in there. It used to be a movie theater, obviously, years ago. It's, 100 years old or something? There's a lot of vibe in that place, the May Wilson. So after seeing the Sons of the Pioneers, I said, I started mulling it around in my head. I said, I should do my one-man show here. And we got it all together with my management and my bookers and stuff, and we put the tickets on sale, and they were gone in about a day. So I'm very happy with that, and I'm looking forward to it. I've made a lot of new friends. I've lived in Moose Jaw for a year now. I've made a lot of new friends here, and some of them got tickets in time, and some of them didn't. But we made up our minds early. We weren't going to give any tickets away because it's too small. I want to do what's best for the May Wilson Theater. And one thing I'm very proud of, since we announced my 2 shows there, and they sold out instantly, now suddenly the May Wilson is getting offers for other artists of a little better stature than before. They want to come and play. Well, if Burton's playing there, then maybe we should go there. Well, so you know what? I've done something good for the May Wilson, so that makes me very happy.
Awesome. You mentioned you've been living in Moose Jaw for about a year now, and some local people are still coming to grips with that. Some of my friends still don't believe it. They're like, really? And I say, well, you know what? The guy's from Winnipeg. He's got to live somewhere. What's wrong with Moose Jaw? I
like it here, and here's the thing. People don't realize how mild it is here in the winters. I mean, Winnipeg's only, 250 miles away, maybe 300 miles away. Last January of 2018, I saw guys here in Moose Jaw jogging in shorts and T-shirts. I swear to you, I'm not making this up. The same day in Winnipeg, it was 27 below. So there's something here that's temperate. We're in some kind of a temperate zone. It's somewhat akin to the Chinooks that Calgary gets, or whatever it is. I like it. And here's the thing, man. I'm born on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is my birthday, December 31st. So we did a big show in Winnipeg last year on December 31st. With the wind chill, it was the same temperature as the surface of Mars. Oh. It reached 71 below zero with the wind chill. And yet here, it was now, and even today, as we speak, we're on live here. Even as we speak, driving here, I'm seeing melting. I went for a walk this morning with no gloves on. My coat was open. It's beautiful. For somebody that grew up in Winnipeg, this is like springtime, So I like the weather here. I like the people here. Sometimes it's a little tougher for me because I fly so much, and you can't fly in and out of Moose Jaw. But by the same token, that's what keeps it sane, I think. Once you have flights going in and out every day, there tends to be more crime, there tend to be more gangs, there tends to be more of the underbelly of society. And I think Moose Jaw, part of its charm is that you got to drive to Regina to fly, And I think Moose Jaw, that's one of the reasons I like it so much.
Interesting. Burton Cummings is our guest on the Heartland at Noon. He's got 2 sold-out shows in Moose Jaw next week, and he's made Moose Jaw his home for the past year. You mentioned the show next week will be just you and your piano.
Yes.
What about the piano? I mean, it's an extension of you. It's your instrument. What are your specifications when you use someone else's piano? Do you have to work with it for a few days?
No, I don't carry a grand piano anymore. That was a nightmare for years and years. You could never get it loud enough to compete with the guitar players. It was just a nightmare. There was no good amplification method. I use a Yamaha CP3 now, or whatever it is. I don't even know if that's the right serial number, but I use a Yamaha. It's 88 keys. It sounds like a grand piano, yet one guy can lift it. It never goes out of tune. I'm happy as I could be with my Yamaha, and I just sit it's a tiny little thing. You can barely see it. I sit facing the audience, playing the piano that sounds like a grand piano, and it's a very intimate show. I talk a lot about the songs, but the piano, you said it's an extension of me. Yes, my mother forced me to start taking lessons when I was about 5.5 years old. I took Royal Conservatory up in the time I was about 14. I never got my teacher's degree, but what the Royal Conservatory did was it taught me about the mathematics of music, which allowed me to understand the, chords and voicings and stuff like that. And that helped me become a songwriter, I think.
Back to Moose Jaw for a second. When you first moved here a year ago, did you try to keep a low profile? Did it take some time for people to recognize you around town?
No, it took about 30 seconds for people to start recognizing me. I still get people stopping me on the street for selfies and people yelling at me from their cars and stuff. I guess I stick out a little bit here, but, I don't mind it because overall the people are nice about it. They're not as pushy as they are in Toronto or Vancouver, some of the bigger cities. They're not as pushy. And, I grew up in Winnipeg. I know about the farm town mentality, the farm mentality, basically the prairie mentality. I like it here. The people are nice here. The people in the restaurants, the people in the coffee shops, they recognize me, but they don't make it uncomfortable. Whereas sometimes in the big cities, it gets a bit tedious.
Yeah, interesting. Really interesting. We call ourselves the friendly city here in Moose Jaw,
is.
So that's good.
It is friendly.
That's good to hear. The songs, sir. So many to choose from. In fact, I told you we play 33 of your songs on the radio station right now, and that's just in the current rotation. I mean, that'll change over time. We'll probably add some more. You have so many songs to choose from. The fact that it's just you next week and your piano, does that narrow the record library down some?
A tiny bit. I mean, I hope people won't come to the May Wilson expecting to hear American Woman. That's all drums and guitar, and I don't do that. But believe it or not, I even try and do No Time sometimes, which is all guitars and drums. I still do Hand Me Down World, although it's a rock and roll tune. A lot of the songs I translate to piano and voice. There are certain ones, like Break It to Them Gently and I'm Scared and Stand Tall. They really sound pretty full with just piano and voice. But I think people that come to the shows at May Wilson, they're going to get what they hoped for. I still do These Eyes and Laughing and Undone, and I still do I end the show with Share the Land. I still sing You Saved My Soul. I do Break It to Them Gently. I do a song called Dream of a Child, which I didn't write, but people love to hear it live. And I also stray from my own catalog a little bit. I do a tribute to Bobby Darin. I do Mac the Knife. Sometimes I do Ferry Cross the Mersey by Jerry and the Pacemakers because it was always one of my favorite tunes. I sometimes do Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by the Platters just to show off my vocal chops, and it's a pretty entertaining couple of hours, I think, and I don't get stuck on one genre of music. But they're still going to hear, I think they're still going to hear the songs they came to hear, Share the Land, Break It to Them Gently, These Eyes, Laughing, Undone, even No Time and Hand Me Down World, and You Saved My Soul, and Sour Sweet, another Guess Who song that sounds great because the record was all piano and voice. So, and I'm Scared sounds pretty good, just piano and voice. So I have tempered the show around the songs that sound the fullest with just piano and voice. It's a completely different show. I know a lot of people here still tell me they saw us at the Regina X last year with my band. Oh, by the way, a chance to brag here. We drew the largest crowd in 20 years. They loved me because they were selling $8 beers. But a lot of people said they saw that show and they were just so happy that they had gone. Well, this is a completely different show from that. It's not my band. It's not as much of a rock and roll show. I speak a lot more about the songs and the inspirations to the songs. I tell some stories, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm all geared up for my shows at the May Wilson.
I want to ask you. I don't have to ask you, though. I can see it in your eyes. You still love what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm one of the lucky ones, you know. The only real job I ever had, I worked at Eaton's for about 6 weeks when I was a kid, and I used to, other than that, I just used to mow lawns and rake leaves and shovel snow so I could buy those 45s at 98 cents a piece, you know, and I delivered papers. I delivered the Winnipeg Tribune, but yes, I still do love that 2 hours on stage. I still do.
Burton, one more thing. 71 years old on December 31st.
Yes.
You look great. You're sounding great. You're still vibrant and full of life. What's the secret? Diet and exercise have changed over the years?
I walk a couple miles every day here in Moose Jaw. I'm religious about vitamins and supplements. I finally quit smoking after I just smoked cigarettes for like 40 years. I finally quit smoking. I don't drink anymore, no alcohol. I still eat like a 19-year-old, but no, I just, you know what, I think it is partly, I think you stay healthy if you love what you do for a living. And I'm fairly active, you know. I don't sleep all day and live a rock and roll life. I'm clean living, and I want to keep doing this for a while. I got a new set of heroes, you know. Gordon Lightfoot, Bob Seger, Steve Miller, Bob Dylan. They're all way older than I am. They're all still out doing 50 shows a year. So that's my goal.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure to meet you, sir, and thanks for coming on my show.
Thank you very much. I love it here in Moose Jaw. Thank you.
Burton Cummings in concert next week in Moose Jaw, May Wilson Theatre. Sold out shows. If you see Burton on the street, yeah, you can wave to him and say hi. And he likes it here in the Friendly City.